and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and we've got an all-timer of a toy news here. A ton of wrestling stuff to go through. We got to talk about the $1,000 plate dinner I went to for Powertown this week, a little fundraiser. That was wild. And also brand new DC, of course, over there from Mattel, not McFarlane, this week, and new He-Man figures. There's a lot to dive into. Let's get after it. But first, got to thank jaystoysandgames.com. Use code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to thank them for sponsoring the toy news this week. I picked up some stuff you'll see tomorrow in the weekly purchases. So make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. What are you waiting for by now? Subscribe to this one, subscribe to the other one, and follow my podcast while you're at it. Also, check out Patreon. We got a new month, new giveaway. Doing 2 giveaways over there on Patreon this month. We got Jazzwares Vault exclusive, Brody Lee, and the brand new Rock Street Fighter figure from Mattel. Both of those will be given away to 2 separate people. So 2 giveaways, 2 people will win those. So check out the Patreon, early access to the podcast, early access to all the videos, glamour shots, you name it. There's a lot going on over there. Did a monthly Q&A over there as well this week. So check out the Patreon, support the channel. You guys know the drill by now. But you also know the drill by now with the toy news, and we got a lot. So let's get to it. This week, we're starting off Friday, pre-order city over there at Target for WWE Mattel. We saw the latest Legends releases go up. Mr. Fuji, finally, first time in the line. I pre-ordered 2 of those Mr. Fujis to display both heads, of course. We saw Michelle McCool, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Jesse, the Body, the Ventura. You know I'm all in on that one there. And the Build-A-Figure is Bob Backlund, presidential Bob Backlund. Pretty darn cool to see that as well. Maybe it'll be here in time for President's Day. We'll see what happens with that. But really like the looks of this Legends set. Michelle McCool feels weird, but it's that weird kind of in-between time. You go back, it's been like 2 decades since she came, so I guess technically is a legend there. So we got those up for pre-order. Bray Wyatt Target Legends Ultimate, that is up for pre-order as well. A lot of people looking forward to that one. We also saw the most controversial aspect of it all, though, was once again the LJN line. Controversial in a lot of ways, a little bit hard to get. The pre-orders sell out really quick. Target's really not restocking them after the holidays, as we've seen. And the pre-orders for Series 1 up and down and back and forth and all points in between. It's been a weird line, but it seemingly so far has been successful. We'll see how things go with Series 2, but all intents and purposes, as of today, they're going pretty well as the pre-orders all sold out. Jesse the Body Ventura once again, King Kong Bundy, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the Ultimate Warrior all sold out. I got to my phone about 7:15 or something Friday morning, and when I went there, they were all sold out. So somewhere between that like 5 o'clock, 7 a.m. window, they all sold out. So your mileage may vary. If you got them, good for you. I'm not sweating it. The last pre-orders went up and down multiple times. Finally did get them eventually, but we'll see what's going on. But I don't know what's up with the pre-orders. They just don't have the faith in the line they should. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll follow it with the LJNs, but a lot of people excited about those, which is good to see, as we know. We also saw this last week, towards the end of last week, we saw some prototype leaks out there. And if you go to eBay, there's prototypes all over the place for these LJN figures. But we did see, it looks like The Rock, and we knew The Rock was coming, but we get the first look at what his figure is going to look like. And the other one being Jake the Snake Roberts. Man, a missed opportunity with Mattel once again, as it looks like they're using the same Jake the Snake Roberts that we got from the LJN line once upon a time. I know some people are here for that. I've made my point very clear at nauseum here, but I hope they do fix the height on Jake the Snake. That was one of the big things about the LJN one. It was always too small. So if they're going to use the same body, whatever, do it, but let's just make it a little bit bigger. How about? So hopefully that does happen. More to come in the future. But we're not done with Mattel. We're not done with wrestling. Our friends over there at Ringside Collectibles, code Kyle, saves 10% at Ringside. We did see main event 165 go up this week. A heavy hitter set for the main event line. Ethan Page, first time in the main events, got that. Sol Ruca, first time. A lot of people buzzing on that one. I think $40 to pre-order her. At the end of the day, though, gosh, I am not finding any of these females out at retail, and most people aren't either. So if you really have to have Sol Ruca, and let's be honest, she's going to get an elite probably before the year's up. But if you really got to have her in your collection, you might as well pre-order from Ringside. Save yourself 10% because I don't feel good about the chances of finding that one in the stores. We saw John Cena is going to be in that set. Cody Rhodes, a really good-looking one with his tracksuit. I'm here for that. And Hollywood Hogan for the first time in the main event line. So to me, I went to Ringside. I said, I really want that Sol Ruca. I want Cody. I want Hogan. I think Ethan Page is really the only one I didn't want out of that set, or didn't need, I should say. But it was cheaper to order the set than order them individually, and you basically get Ethan Page for free. So that's what I did. So I'll have an Ethan Page, I guess, but I did order that whole set. We also saw greatest hits, I think, Wave 11, CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, and Logan Paul once again. No idea if they're going to be just straight re-releases or maybe they'll twist the gear a little bit. I like it when they do that, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. We saw the Vault, Dudley's Harlem Heat combo. We talked about those a couple of weeks, now up officially for pre-order if you need those two tag teams in your collection. And then we got Showdown Series 26. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, doesn't do a whole lot for me. John Cena and Cody, main event 2-pack. That looks pretty cool. And then the one I'm really excited about, Mick Foley, Mankind, one of my favorite performers ever, especially as Cactus Jack, getting a main event Cactus Jack along with Chelsea Green in her main event, or Chelsea Green in her Mick Foley inspired gear. That's going to be a very popular one here. And it's getting to the end, of course, Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, with his Legends deal running out. This is going to be one of our last figures from Mattel. And I think they're going out on a pretty high note with Cactus Jack Ultimate later this year as well. But the end of an era with Foley. But he'll be back. They always come back. We know how that goes. We also saw Ultimates go up for pre-order this week. Once again, Chelsea Green. Once again, John Cena and Randy Orton. So we get a lot of those guys in the Ultimate line. Obviously, Chelsea going to be the first time in the Ultimate line. But those are all up for pre-order right now over there at Ringside Collectibles. And as I said, use code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. We did see this week, it's like, fool me once, shame on you. You know, the whole saying there. February 11th, Mattel Creations, Jesse Ventura. I don't know what's going to happen with that one. Truly a conspiracy around here because it keeps going up and where we think it's going up and then getting pulled back. So nobody knows for sure. I guess we'll wait for February 11th. It'd be a great Valentine's celebration if we get Jesse in the mailbox. Maybe they're trying to time that perfectly so everybody gets Jesse Ventura for Valentine's Day. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So we'll see where that ends up going very, very soon. There is some rumors out there on Ultimate Greatest Hits, the next wave, which I still haven't picked up the last wave, so I'm really behind on things. This came from Mitch Craig over there on the X. Give him a follow. Logan Paul back in the saddle again, and the Great Muta. Great Muta in white. I would love to see another Great Muta. I'm here for all the Mutas. Let's do it. Let's get as many Mutas out as we can with the contract. We don't know when that's going to end, but it will end someday, I have to believe. So hopefully we get some more Great Mutas and maybe we'll get another Ultimate repaint going on with that. We also saw Elite 126. Looks like we're going to have Penta, Javon Evans, first time in the line, Roxanne Perez as well. El Grande Americano hitting all the first-timer hits here. And then Jimmy Uso trying to stay up with speed with his brother Jay Uso in the figure department. Elite 126 coming here in the next couple of months. And that's it from Mattel. There was a lot going on with Mattel this week, especially at the end of the week this week. We'll see where things go in the future here in the next couple of weeks. As we do know, Toy Fair is right around the corner. I want to say that's like Valentine's Day weekend. So for those that are going there, it's not as big as San Diego Comic-Con, and it's a lot of intermingling with stores and businesses. Our good friends Jay's Toys and Games are going to be there. They're going to be meeting with all the players along the way. So we'll see where that ends up going with them. But excited for Toy Fair. There should be some announcements, some news coming out of it. So we'll cover it all on the channel as we usually do. But now we move over to some more wrestling outside of Mattel. No Jazzwares news this week, as we know as well. But KWK this week showing images of Tenryu and the Great Kabuki times 3. 3 times the Kabuki madness is what we have. Very famous performers in North America that, of course, came from Japan. So that is nice because it gets the fan base over there and it also gets the fan base here. So I think there's going to be some excitement around these characters here. Never forget Tenryu in the Royal Rumble back in the day. And didn't he help? He might have helped like take out the Undertaker into his casket, if I'm not mistaken, as well with Yokozuna and stuff. Tenryu, but Tenryu an all-timer, and then the Great Kabuki. You get mist, you get face paint. sign Kyle up. So we got those coming around the corner. We also saw that Flash Funk and the Orient Express both sold out. KWK dialing things back on their models this year. The pre-order is the order in a lot of ways. If you want the figures, you most likely have to go to the J&J figures, things like that, the Asylums of the world, to get these picked up, because they're going to sell out a little bit faster than they did, as they're trying to go with the fluctuating marketplace with the demand for figures, and also with the price points moving the demand up and down in some cases as well. So make sure you're paying close attention to KWK in 2026. It's one of those you snooze, you lose type scenarios is what it seems to be. We saw Grapplers and Gimmicks come out swinging this week. Aldo Montoya, the man of war, he's coming again, not just from Zombie last week, but this week, Grapplers and Gimmicks. Who's going to have the better Aldo Montoya? It's going to be a fight to the death, as we know. But on top of that, we're also getting Just Incredible from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So that's pretty darn cool. I think, I don't know, which one's going to sell better between the two? Aldo Montoya is more wrestle crap, or Just Incredibles. I don't know if he would be a Mount Rushmore of ECW, but he was up there. So going to be interested to see how those sell. But I'm here for both of them. There's no doubt about it. We saw this week in stock surprise, Sal Sincere looking good. He is up for order right now if you want to, shipping right away as well. And then to cover the Regium line, we did see an image of Raven's head sculpt. It's a prototype image, pink grayscale image, whatever you want to call it. Looks very nice, though. Looks very nice. I'm excited for this Regium line where it goes. Can't wait for the Rougeos, Ahmed, Raven. We saw last week Sean Mooney, Alfred Hayes, Kurt Fuller. We'll see how deep we go with this old Regium line in the future. But looking good. Head over to grapplersandgimmicks.com. This week on the channel, I also unboxed the first series of his horror collection with Tarman ×2 and Tom Savini ×2. So check out those reviews if you missed that along the way. And Zombie Sailor Toys, we mentioned it just earlier, but man, oh man, clock's ticking. We should have Pinnacle, I assume, any day. He did say it would be like the last week of January, early February. So I am hoping next week we start getting some shipping notices for our Pinnacle figures. It's been almost a year wait, maybe a little less than a year. But I'm ready for them. I'm ready to try some new figures out, see what these Pinnacles are all about. We'll see how that goes. And then this week, he did put Roadkill up for order, shipping right out. Roadkill's been bouncing around conventions and things for a while, but hasn't been online. Finally coming online is Roadkill. So if you're after that, keep your eyes peeled for that one. We heard from Epic Toys this week, talking about their Beverly Brothers, showing some production samples. I think Epic needs to do a little bit more of that, showing out these samples, showing up stuff as we go through production. So getting out there, stoking the flames a little bit, making the fires go, getting it top of mind over a lot of these other companies that are posting daily. So good job on Epic right there. We'll see how the Beverly Brothers go. As we do know, Epic has them and Title Run Toys has them. It's the battle of the Beverly Brothers figures. Which one are you picking up? Both? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Major stars this week with their announcement. Major stars, I guess we'll call it Series 3. Matt and Jeff Hardy, no strangers to any of it. We've had big rubber guys. We have Major Bendies, now Major Stars. We got those two coming announced this week. No pre-order yet that I did see. Here is another one that goes a little bit with Power Town. A lot of people taking this company to task, not myself as much as others, because they are very transparent about things. We're Power Town. We're coming up on a year from the last official communication from Power Town where they said, we're going to be better. We're going to communicate better. All this whole rigmarole. Here's our new people. Here's our new company. They gave us that whole rigmarole in March and have done nothing since. Absolutely madness on that. Where Asylum at least would pepper out some things, and they just peppered out something in the last week here that it looks like Asylum All-Star Series 2 is about 2 to 3 months away by boat, unfortunately. So it's like, hey, they're coming, but another 2 to 3 month wait. But it sounds like probably before Power Town, we're going to get our Asylum figures. Now, one note, Asylum did go up for pre-order before Power Town. So think of that there. But I have to think small orders on these, and Power Town probably equally small orders. But I will pick these up if they do go in stock somewhere when they do arrive. I would like to check these out and see what's going on. I did unbox Series 1 on the channel, as we do know. But another 2 to 3 months. We got Karate Man a part of that. Paul Orendorff, Black Tiger and Eddie Guerrero, Sergeant Slaughter, Tatanka as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that series does. And will there be a Series 3? I don't know. Time will have to tell on that one. But they are almost off the clock. They've almost fulfilled the orders. They are very, very close. But one company that has not yet, and we're going to dive into it. It's time for the Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
Here we go. It's time for the Power Town update, and it was a wild week this week. I was on the road. It was a cold week on the road this week, but I was in the Quad Cities. Absolutely beautiful this time of year. Let me tell you, that Mississippi River just all full of ice. It was just majestic. Just majestic. You got to go there. I did stop by Portillo's. We don't have those in my area, so I got myself an Italian beef sandwich for dinner as I worked through my email. It was a working man's dinner is what we'll call that there. But it was very convenient that I had a meeting and a big presentation to give in the Quad Cities this week because just by coincidence alone, Todd McFarlane, it was wild. But our friends over there at Power Town, Steve, Magnum, Greg, and the boys, they were over there and actually in Rock Island, Illinois. Probably the least beautiful of the Quad Cities, if I have to be honest. But it was at the Ramada. The Ramada, always a beautiful hotel. Really recommend a Ramada, let me tell you. But they had a Ramada room rented, and they had a $1,000 per plate fundraising event for Power Town. And I said, you got to be kidding me. I'm here. And I did pony up another $1,000. How much money am I going to throw? I keep throwing good money at bad product is what I'm doing here. But I threw my $1,000 in. I said, well, I can't miss this. So I did go and I put my name down as Tom Peterson. I used my dad's identity to get into this thing. I didn't want to put Kyle down just in case. Didn't want to get on the business end of Magnum's right fist. You know what I mean. But it was an interesting celebration. Of course, it started off with our friend Steve Rosenthal, and he gave a little bit of speech. And of course, I filmed this stuff, Todd McFarlane. And Steve once again gave the same speech he gave last week, but he gave it again for this group. Makes sense. He said this explains the whole Power Town business model, where the figures are, what's coming, and everything. It was right in that video. He said, if you don't understand that, I can't help you. I think it was, what would he say? I was phoning, of course, Todd McFarlane in. He said, I could explain it for you, Kyle, but I can't understand it for you. That's what he said. But he called me Tom, not Kyle, of course, because I was written down as Tom. And that's where I went for Steve. So I'm not sure exactly what those plans are. If somebody can translate, that would be great, of course. And as I mentioned, Magnum got up on there and he said he's got one more in him. He goes, I told everybody on that podcast I got one more in him if somebody comes after me here. But they got $1,000 per plate at this thing. So that was a lot of money earned. They made, by my tally, I did a little head count in the room. They made $1,000 and it was my $1,000. I was the only one there. I don't know. Unless you were there, show me, but I didn't see anybody else there. But we did get a nice little performance. Power Town, the one thing they do, they don't really give figures out, but they get bands to come and perform at their board meetings, their Christmas party, their New Year's Eve party, board meetings, and apparently these fundraiser events. And we were set down for a majestic performance right off the river. It was a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, that's exactly where my camera ran out of battery room right at the end of that performance. So I missed it when Magnum, Steve, and Greg all locked arms with the band and they did all kinds of dancing together. It was a wild scene. Wish I could have got it all on film. But that was an interesting week for Power Town. A great news update, of course. And of course, guess what? That's it. There's nothing else. There was no other Power Town updates. We didn't get anything from them. Are you shocked? You should not be. But that's 0 updates per Power Town. Seen a broken record here for the last year. But we'll see. We're going to keep them. We're going to keep it top of mind because we can't let them run away with all of our money, as we know. So there it is, the Power Town update. But as Jerry Reed always says, turn our attention to stuff that is coming out. It looks like coming in April, so just a couple of months away. And kudos to Mattel, kudos to the Masters of the Universe team with their it's like an onslaught media blitz this week about Masters of the Universe, the new movie. We did see it was like a Nuremberg toy show was our first images, and then about everybody was talking chatter, and then 2 days later, Entertainment Weekly of all places shows off pictures of all these figures, and then like a day or two later, just keeping it top of mind is what they're doing here, and showing the actors and actresses with their figures, their first impressions, stuff like that. So a very cool week as far as promotion for this Masters of the Universe movie. A lot of buzz going out there, people that aren't Masters fans even talking about it. All points leading good success for this movie come June 5th. Now the movie's got to deliver to making a difference, that's for sure. But I'm not sure where it'll go. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are into the He-Man fandom off this movie, but I think they'll be into the fandom of the new figures around the movie. I don't foresee a lot of people saying, I need to go back and get those 1980 original ones. Somebody get me that buzz off. I don't see that happening, but we'll see. I think we will see a rise in all Masters things around the movie. and then it'll slope down. That's usually the way it works. And I did post the pictures on my Instagram of all these new Masters figures, and it was truly a split verdict in the comment section. A lot of people hated these figures, and a lot of people liked them. It seemed to be no in between on these ones. I would have thought somebody would say, well, I'll play a long game, get them on clearance maybe. And also, we'll wait and see what they look like in hand. That's another big thing. But we did see Skeletor. We saw Trapjaw. We saw Triclops. We saw He-Man. We also saw Battle Cat. We saw Man-at-Arms, Teela, Evil Lyn. We also even saw a little bit of Sneaky Ram Man as well. But quite the heavy hitter launch here. Some weird, interesting changes with some of these characters and toys. Skeletor, very different. Not as Skeletor-y as we normally think of. And that's where they're trying to take creative license and change and adapt some stuff for 2026, I guess. It still looks like Skeletor, just a little bit different than the Skeletor we know. I'm still not totally sold on the He-Man. Obviously, he can't be overly crazy like the toy and cartoon, but we'll see how it is. Hopefully, it'll be good in the movie. We'll see how that goes. Battle Cat looks really cool. It's always great to have a Battle Cat. I would imagine Panther coming in the future with a repaint. You have to think he's in the movie as well. I think the Teela figure looks good. I think they really got the likeness of the character. Evil Lyn, probably the one most people are just not a big fan of. Too stoic in the face. Zero emotion, dead behind the eyes. Looks like a zombie is what it almost looks like. Triclops, interesting. It looks like they race swapped Triclops as well. It just seems strange to me. They did the same thing with Man-at-Arms. I don't know. 2026, I guess, is what it is. So we got some of that going on. Trapjaw looked really good. That looks like a normal Trapjaw. So a lot of fun with this line. But one thing I'm not enjoying about this line is apparently it's not Masterverse scale. And I think that's a huge miss for Mattel in a lot of ways. Because Masterverse, we've seen New Etheria, New Eternia. We've seen cartoon figures, movie figures from the old He-Man movie in the Masterverse scale. Now we're going to have these, and they won't scale in that Masterverse. So I can see somebody saying, well, it's not Masterverse, I'm out. If they would have put it in the same style, I think some people would have jumped in just to continue on their collection. And it makes sense under the umbrella of Masterverse to put them there. But apparently these figures are going to be a little bit smaller, a hair smaller than Masterverse, which seems wild because you already have molds made for all the Masterverse style stuff. Why wouldn't you lean into that, save some money, put them in those styles? Obviously, you got to get new head sculpts and some new stuff, but not as much new tooling and things. So not sure what I think about that. It almost, in a lot of ways, makes me not want to buy these figures because they'd look better with the Masterverse. And let's be honest, this could be a great movie, but I just don't know if it's, one of those things where, oh, I really enjoyed the movie. I saw it. I got the figures. And then a year later, there's no sequel. There's no talk of a sequel. And you're just like, well, am I really loving these figures here? I like the classic ones more. Do I need this? And before you know it, it's just so hard to say goodbye. I don't know, but it is weird that they went with a different sizing on those. Now, there's also going to be a Chronicles line, which I believe are 5.5-inch figures. So those could be origin style from the movie figures as well. So we'll see where that ends up going. So there's a lot of talk, a lot of buzz around this movie. It's going to be a fun ride as we gear up to June 5th with a lot of surprises, interviews, more toys announced. Toy Fair, I'm sure we'll see everything at Toy Fair. That's where they're going to be soliciting to all the retailers. So a lot of toy news on He-Man the next couple of weeks and months, as you can imagine. Whoa, stop the clock. Kyle from the future breaking in here, as I did read a little bit of an article later today after I filmed the toy news from He-Man.org. So check it out. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I'm just reporting on it. But apparently, we talked about Masterverse and why wouldn't they use the Masterverse style? Well, apparently Masterverse is coming to an end in 2026. We still have some releases to go. They still promise some more vintage collection that we get at Walmart. But after that, I guess the Chronicles is what's taken over for Masterverse. Really a shame if they do decide to go Chronicles, little smaller figure, and basically start everything all over again. I get it. There's people that want the heavy hitters, but really sucks for us longtime fans that have been keeping this thing afloat for a while. And it makes you say, okay, if Masterverse is done, do I want to turn my attention to Chronicles? We talk a lot about that in this very video about DC. Wait for the future here. I don't know. Is it worth starting over again? Sometimes it's like, this is a good time to call it good. Maybe, but it sounds like Masterverse coming to an end in 2026. We got more today. Mondo Man-at-Arms 2000X series looking like straight out of Rob Liefeld from the 1990s. Man, he's looking all big like that famous Captain America with a huge chest. Looks really, really cool, but for me, I just don't know what I'm doing with those. I haven't pre-ordered any of those style figures, and they're pretty deep in the pre-order waves with that one. I just don't know. I don't know. But I do know I do want, no matter what, if I collect this line or not, it looks like the PowerCon, or I think it's PowerCon Motu Fest at the end of the year. I want to say it's in September. I think it's in Cincinnati. I'm penciling it on my calendar to go. I'm thinking about going to that. But there is going to be a Mondo exclusive Anti-Eternia He-Man, which would be a simple repaint. But man, that is one of my favorite characters that I've never even seen in mediums, just through action figures, basically. I absolutely love the idea of this. We haven't seen it fully shown yet, but I got to get that in my collection somehow. So we'll see where that ends up going. But we did get Mondo Man-at-Arms. Looks like he's going up for pre-order this week, if that is your thing. We also saw a line that I thought all was dead, basically dead at this point. It is a Monkian. I think it's going to be Monkian. That's what everybody seems to think, from the Thundercats Masters crossover line. Now, only showing one figure here. Not sure exactly what that means. Fan channel exclusive. Is there going to be another wave with more figures announced? Not exactly sure, but I thought this line was totally dead, but apparently it's back from the dead, and it's back ready to take some names with a Monkian style figure. A few other things to talk about this week. We got NECA Muppets 2026. Obviously, the success of the Sesame Street line, have to think the IP's licenses are somewhat related, so we're going to get Muppet figures. Once again, I wasn't a Muppets guy. I want a Waylon Jennings figure. Could they bring us a Waylon Jennings figure? I would love to see that. But we had the Muppets movie. We've had all kinds of Muppet properties. Personally, I was a Muppet Babies guy. That's my Muppets. If I think about the cartoon, it was on Nickelodeon when I was a little kid, and I think it was on CBS as well. But a lot of people love the Muppets, so I have to think with the success of Sesame Street, you'll have similar success with the Muppets. We'll see where NECA takes that line here later this year. I have to imagine maybe Toy Fair and at least San Diego Comic-Con, if not before. We'll see more on that. We also saw Delta Force Chuck Norris. Talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Got pretty promotional images this week. It's a crime how few Chuck Norris figures we've had. Obviously, there was the figures in the 80s, but we need some good Chuck Norris figures, if you ask me. Get Sidekicks. Yeah, exactly right, Top and Front. Let's get Sidekicks movie figures. Let's get that Jonathan Brandis, Joe Piscopo, one of the all-time great movies, as we do know. But we got that coming there. And then, Todd, you might want to close your ears on this one. We're going to talk DC, but we're talking Mattel and not McFarlane, unfortunately. We did see at the toy show over there in Germany, and if you guys are a big fan, oh my gosh, Todd, I know you're a big fan of Germany. Not this coming week on the podcast, but the following week, we're taking a trip to Germany. We're going all German podcast. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be there in 2 weeks. This week, we got all kinds of stuff. We're going to learn about how my wife eats corn the long way. We're going to talk about Connect 4 misadventures. There's some heated stories about Connect 4. Yes, childhood classic game. We talk about a few other things too. My Fulci catch-up. There's a lot going on. Check out the Kyle Peterson Show. But we did see from Germany Toy Show, and then thanks to Action Figure Attack on Instagram, he put out a picture of the poster that was shown, solicited, dare I say, and it was the upcoming DC line. Now, they're going to start with these somewhere in the summertime, it sounds like, and these are going to be the kid-friendly, price-friendly figures here. Now, looking at these and staring at them, obviously Mattel is making these. These look just like WWE main event figures. I am fully expecting these to be main event style figures. Obviously, you'll have capes and some new accessories, but I think they're taking the foundation of main event, putting them towards these. Very smart, if you ask me. Now, that makes me wonder, because they said towards the end of this year and by early next year, we'll see them on the shelves, we're going to see the collector focus line. Now, what are these going to be? Now, my gut has been saying they're going to use the He-Man Masterverse style bodies. I think that works the best for this. But if they're using WWE main event stylized figures here, could it be elite figures? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Masterverse makes more sense. But if they want figures like WWE right now, you can put main event style figures, elite figures, and ultimate figures. 3 separate toy lines, 3 separate price points. You can mix them all together on your shelf. I wonder if they'll do the same thing with the DC figures. That makes a lot of sense if they do that. It gets more product out there. It gets people buying. Like right now, if main events were 2 inches smaller than the elites, or an inch or whatever smaller, they didn't fit there, I wouldn't collect them. Same thing with ultimates. So I think they're smart enough to know, hey, let's put it all in the same kind of universe, because we'll get people crossing over and buying it. Well, I'm not a big Deathstroke fan, so I'm not going to get the collector Deathstroke, but I'll get the main event style Deathstroke for $15 or whatever, and I'll put that in my display. I think that makes a lot of money. It makes a lot of sense, and dollars make sense, as we do know, right, Todd? Oh, Todd's got his ears closed still. I forgot. So we'll see where that goes, but it looks like these will be coming out in the summertime, and I believe these are kind of the replacement for the Spin Master DC Kitty stuff. Can't wait to see where this goes. I got some serious decisions to be made. Do I need more DC? I was always a Marvel over DC guy, especially from when I was 10 on, I was all Marvel. As a kid before that, it was all DC. But at the times, they were changing like a Bob Dylan once upon a time. I don't know where I go. There's going to be a lot of product. We know Mattel. We know what they do with wrestling. If they do the same amount of figures for DC, I don't think I could keep up with that. Most people can never keep up with that. Nobody's got room for all that either. So I got some decisions to be made. We'll see what happens as we get closer. Have to imagine we'll see some stuff at Toy Fair, and for sure we'll see stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. So things going to get very interesting here in the DC game. But Todd's not done yet. He's finishing out the year. I'm thinking about doing a video of most wanted before the McFarlane line ends, my most wanted figures that I want to see from McFarlane. Maybe I'll do that video on the channel. We'll see what happens. But speaking of Todd here, no DC news this week. A lot of DC stuff over the last couple of weeks. I'm still working on the unboxings over on Kyle Peterson 2.0. Check it out if you have missed them. But McFarlane came in hot. I've been saying Todd's losing DC. He's going to fill that hole. Todd, just like myself, we plug holes at all points. All the time we're plugging holes. Todd's going to do the same thing. He's going to get something else to take, some of the funds, marketing stuff. It'll go to a different line. What is that line going to be? It's one that's near and dear to his heart. It looks like it's going to be the Sport Picks line, and we're going to get sports style figures. Think modern day starting lineups like Hasbro tried to do recently. And we saw this week in their live stream from McFarlane Toys, they're doing a few different hockey players there. And obviously hockey near and dear to Todd McFarlane. Can we get a Gordie Howe? Can I get a Bobby Hull? Can we? Can we get a Patrick Waugh? I would love to see a Patrick Waugh. How about a Grant Fuhr? And can we get him in 2 color variations, white and black? I would love to see it. That'd be a nice nod to starting lineups once upon a time. I would love to see that. Can we get a Jeremy Roenick? Can we get some of those? I know you and Roenick are tight. We got to get a Jeremy Roenick. So to be interested to see where his new Sport Picks line goes. Does that have legs? Does that resonate with the collectors in this day and age? Have to imagine we'll have trading cards involved with those. It'll be really rare. So you know how Todd does it. He'll do that kind of stuff. Anxious to see what else Todd might do in the future. Could there be some DC stuff? You've been rumoring it for a while. Maybe wrestling. We're not sure what Jazzwares is up to. Could he tip his toe into some wrestling figures for the first time? That would be an interesting turn of events. Maybe more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Playmates being done at the end of the year. It's going to be a very interesting musical chairs in some of the toy industries. And I think it's a time where a lot of people start collecting and a lot of people end collections. I guarantee somebody out there, I don't know who, I was all in on DC with McFarlane. I'm out with Mattel. I wasn't getting McFarlane. I'm in with Mattel. I guarantee that's happening. Maybe you're doing it right now as I'm talking. So a lot to stay tuned to here in 2026. A pivotal year for the toy industry and a pivotal year for the channel, Todd McFarlane, as we're coming up on our 6-year anniversary of the channel in March. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. What am I telling you? What am I telling you here? But a lot going on. But what are you interested in the toy news? That is it. That is the toy news this week. No more. No more. But let me know your thoughts on any of this toy news. You excited for the Masters of the Universe figures? You in? Are you out or are you in, I guess? Same thing with the McFarlane stuff. You in or out on the new Sport Picks? And then, hey, how about the DC Mattel figures? In or out on those? And then all the wrestling stuff we talked about. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, of course, both YouTube channels. Check out Patreon. Check out YouTube channel memberships to support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and The Kyle Peterson Show. Of course, you guys know The Kyle Peterson Show is available every single Tuesday wherever podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. And while you're there, might as well check out a couple of videos of that. See what my wife Angie and I are up to off the rails each and every week. So for another week of the toy news, you know what I'm doing. I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into another work week.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?
It's after midnight. People are trying to sleep.